HELLCAST. For Reaper Metal Productions, this is HELLCAST, and this show wouldn't be complete without J-Dawg here to join us, one of the dick handle blowers at Hell's Headbangers who sponsor every episode, so we're welcoming you back. And, I just want to get right into it. You know what's going to be happening on this show. We're going to be talking about metal. And so the other day, I was talking to a member of one of the bands that's going to be coming out here on Reaper Metal Production, Simulation. And he's a rip guy like you. And we're talking about content and stuff. And he had a pretty interesting thought that was basically the essence of metal, however you slice it. If it's Glenn Benton, Deicide, speaking ill of Christians, Gorefest, or if it's positive high spirits. Everybody is collectively looking toward metal as a positive thing. Mm-hmm. Yet, for the most part, it's not positive at all, even if you're devoid of the fact that, hey, it's about Satan or kill Christians or any of this. But even the lifestyles of I know I'm uplifted, yet they're eating junk food and smoking cigarettes and all this kind of crap. And I thought, oh my God, that's entirely a conversation that I would definitely think J-Dawg's got a thought or two about. So not even health and all that too, but for instance, bands that are claiming to be, singing about Satan and stuff. For the most part, half those people, they're not even remotely satanic. Half the time, it's just a 15-year-old kid talking about some demons and shit they don't even know the names of.
Yeah, I think that, no, most of them aren't. But I think a lot of the black metal guys will claim they are, and in my opinion, are not. Because there are true Satanists. Obviously. And I think King Diamond, believe is considered a true Satanist.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've always heard. That's what he says, unless he's lying off his ass, which I guess is possible. Well, that's what I've always heard.
Yeah, well, it seems there might be some sort of level.
And what I mean by
lodge.
true Satanist is somebody that actually follows it, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as far as how many people actually do that, I'm sure it's few and far in between. Yeah, I'm sure most guys are just singing about it, and then you got the one guys that claim they're serious about it, but. If a gun was held to the if a gun was held there, the witness test to me is if you're on your deathbed with cancer or if a gun's held to your head, if you start praying to God or asking for God, then you ain't no fucking Satanist.
Right on.
Because that's when the serious times come in, and I guarantee most of them would. Now I'm sure there's some that wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now,
what do you think though on the level of you take things like Deicide in a positive light though? Because I think you would probably agree with that, right? That it's
I could see why that might be looked at semi-silly, but I think albums like Serpents in the Light, for example, I think that's a very positive message because he's kind of saying, in a sense, on a lot of it, even Slave to the Cross, like that, is that this is the true evil.
Yeah.
Is Christianity.
Yeah, of course.
So, they're kind of saying, now an album like the self-title, sacrificial suicide, killing yourself for Satan and shit, obviously that's probably not too positive. But and I don't think that they were trying to be. But I could see why some of it, where I think a lot of the hateful shit towards Christianity done in a kind of a way of why they're expressing why they dislike it, it could be a positive message. Because, and honestly, the thing is because a lot of the people that are brought up in this world, the only reason they're into that nonsense is because that's what they're raised on. So if you get an intelligent point of view, if it's presented well, you could be like, huh.
Yeah.
Because I've always said, the thing is, in my mind, I don't know how anyone could follow that nonsense. Number one, you may as well just believe in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. Number two, I said, even if he did come from the heavens, from the skies, point his finger shows he exists, and the whole Bible's true, I still want to worship his ass. Why not? This is me personally.
He's fucking with me?
No, because I think he's sadistic. Because if you telling me I wasn't given a choice to be born, I didn't sign a piece of paper and say, hey, yeah, sign me the fuck up. Nobody was given a choice. So with that being said is, you created me, and I either have to worship you or I burn for all eternity. That's sadistic. I'm not worshiping that. You're a piece of shit. So even if you prove to me that you're real, I don't support that ideology. I think that's the true evil. I think that's the true negativity. You're literally saying, dude, the First Amendment, before thou shalt kill, you would think that'd be top dog, is you can't basically use the Lord's name in vain. You can't have gods before gods. That's the First Amendment.
Yeah.
He's caring about his own selfish piece of shit ass.
So
why? To me, just assume that everything in the Bible is 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
That's the positive message of what I see from that stuff that I would promote. I'm like, why would you support that? Why?
Well, and so somebody that listens to HELLCAST does support it, and so much that now they don't support HELLCAST according because it was on. I forgot to have the producer look it up here.
Well, what fucking who's
but
listening to a thing called HELLCAST that's even into a Christian? It's called Hell. Yeah. Like that guy. I love these panini douches. Like I like Hell awaits, and then he's a Christian. Have you ever read those lyrics, bruh?
Well, because Tom Arias.
You didn't find that out until years ago, and not that I don't give a shit. Theoretically speaking, the true Christians I've met, the actual real ones, because there's not that many actually. Most of them are just in case Christians. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The actual true Christians.
But describe it just in case for somebody that doesn't get it.
Just in case Christian is they only go to church and believe it just in case there's a hell. Like fucking, that's like I said, the greatest. I've reversed it. There was the old saying, the greatest trick the devil's ever pulled is convincing mankind he didn't exist. I say it's the other way around. The greatest trick the church has pulled is convincing mankind the devil does exist. Because if the devil didn't exist, they'd go right out fucking business like that. Because the just in casers, the only reason they go is because they're afraid to burn.
Yeah.
Afraid to go to the dark side. That's
So
the only reason.
So this guy was on, I think it was on iTunes, it was one of the reviews. I was on there the other day for whatever reason, and I was just, curious because we didn't have a perfect 5 out of 5 star rating like we used to have. And I was like, yes, like, this has got to be good, like a negative review finally. Because they're always positive, which is great, but it's not when you want to get a laugh.
Because a Christian dislikes.
And so some guy was like, I like this show, but that J-Dawg, I wish I had the producer pull it up.
Dude, that's the best. That's
and he's like, because he's
the best comment we got.
Every time. That's what I'm saying. It was great. And I was like, I got to ask him about this.
Anytime
I'm going to pull it up. Can you pull it up, the iTunes for HELLCAST? Maybe it'll be quicker on your phone. It's just one of the reviews.
If there's ever a day I offend a Christian, then that's a successful job well done day.
Well, I think that you did. Yeah, the iTunes version of the podcast.
Yes, I don't really have much of an opportunity because, as you know, I don't have social media or any of that stuff.
Which episode?
Right, it's just the ratings. Oh. Yeah,
but I don't understand why you would come to a thing called Hell's Headbangers, HELLCAST, Slayer, talking about DS. Like, why would you be following this stuff? If you're a Christian, that don't make any sense to me.
So that was one of the things that Jesse and I from Assimilation were talking about too. Then was like, maybe on a like a brutal death metal band level, we're like,
what the tampon boy.
Oh, we found it. Here we go. So yeah, I-Dawg is an idiot, not J-Dawg, by the way. I-Dawg, literally I-Dawg.
Why is it I-Dawg?
Because he couldn't find the J.
Is I next to the J on keyboard?
No. Well, kinda, but
fucking retard.
So I-Dawg is an idiot. I'm done with, okay, so it gives you a title. So I'm a metalhead and a Catholic. J-Dawg constantly attacks us with his disgusting hate. I will no longer support this hatful podcast and their company. He makes metalheads look bad. Believe it or not, there are a huge, I'm assuming, there are a huge amount of Catholic metalheads, and being constantly hated on by ignorant elitists like J-Dawg, it gets old. I'm done with this crap. You're ruining metal with your hate against people and their beliefs. I'm not going to attack you, dude, but I think you need to at least go to a typing class.
So it's funny is, first of all, nobody's technically an idiot based on just their opinion.
If you can badly type, though, you kind of
That's what I'm saying. You're an idiot, but if you can't spell, so technically you're the fucking idiot. Second of all, do you listen to any of these bands? Do you listen to DSI? Do you listen to Slayer? Do you listen to Dark Funeral? Do you read these lyrics? They're way more hateful than anything I've ever said. We don't like Christians. They don't like Christians. I don't like Christians. Get the fuck out of our scene. You're not welcome. Listen to Christian metal. There's a scene called Christian metal. Mortification actually just got some of this in. It's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
The early stuff actually is pretty decent. But I mean, saying those are the bands for you. Get out of my fucking scene.
Or
if you are going to be in it, just be mature. And for example, we know a guy. I'm not going to name his name. He claims to go to church. We know him very well.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, he's one of your best friends.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, goes to church, but listens to death metal. He would never get mad. Based on, he's like, okay, this is a scene I'm following. That makes sense that these guys are going to talk like that.
Oh yeah.
If you're like that, I get it. But if you're offended, how are you still? You must be one of the 12-year-olds I always talk about. Because how could you be listening to this for any amount of time and not come across this? What I'm saying is nothing new. Everybody that listens to this shit, I'm sorry, vast majority of us don't follow that fake fucking guy in the sky. We just don't.
So let's see if these fans follow the fake guy in the sky. Because we got a show.
No fake God over there.
No fake God over there. Well, we got a segment of the show called 6 9 Seconds. And what is that? That's so we can keep YouTube and the whole social media free fair use, whatever the fuck they call it, rules that we don't know the clarity of. So we figure if we give you six clips and 9 seconds of it, that ought to keep everybody happy and be enough of a taster to keep you intrigued. So let's dive in here and let's press play on the first one. I'm assuming producer, the top of the stack we're gonna be rocking Oxygen Destroyer. Now I don't think they have anything to deal with gods or anything, and it's more about Godzilla. But we shall see because we only got 9 seconds.
Sing about Godzilla.
Oh shit! Oh, it's already fucked. Now you got 5-4.
Hey, listen to those Vader too.
Yeah, it's what it does sound like.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't know. You gotta do that yourself. But hey, fuck yeah, this is a little bit. I was watching my death. Magnus talking about Vader.
Yeah, man.
There we
same
go.
homeland.
Same homeland. Now there's a little bit of gods of the crime. I'm not sure.
I don't think they like the God on there.
Oh, next one. Oh shit.
Why should your buttons work?
Dude, I don't know.
My buttons,
Producer, we need a new 5-disc. That's why 5-discs suck.
Mine out in the shop.
J-Dawg says 5-discs are just fine. Man.
They've always worked good for me.
No, so here's Slot Bath.
They definitely don't like the JC.
No JC?
No.
Okay.
JC to the Lions.
Ooh, here's track 3. Oh, that was sounding good, but oh shit. YouTube's gonna be pissed.
Fuck.
Dude, number 5. Do it.
You're pressing 4. That's why.
Well, 4 I meant. I meant a number that
why don't those numbers work?
That's slower. That's all.
Slower,
I'm an idiot.
that's
let
really
me put it
slow.
on track 3, 4. I'm gonna go track 4. This is Scam, by the way.
I didn't see what you even grabbed. Oh, Scam? It's
Scam?
Scam or Scam?
It's Scam today. Sounds like a fading out guitar. That could be pretty good. 13, 14.
Is it that much of a delay?
Dude, here's Subtype 0.
Dude, you
There's a lot of Redefining Darkness records.
Dude, you should probably press 5 now. Then it'll be done by 9.
Yeah. Esoteric Illusion.
They're from Ohio, too.
Yeah, pretty ripping.
Yeah. No, I know. They're a good band.
Oh, that was good. If we could listen to it longer, we would
Yeah, they got 2 albums now, I believe.
I don't know.
2 discs for sure.
EP and everything like that.
Yeah.
Then we got to put the 6th one in.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
It's only 5 discs. Dude, that's why 5 sucks. What? Who came up with an uneven number?
What's 6 disc we were in? I didn't even see what it was.
This is The Scourge.
No JC on there either?
Lead up to next week's.
There might not be a JC, but there's definitely one of the guys from Devastation. What was it? Or Hellstar, yeah.
Was one of the guys from Hellstar, the old heavy metal band?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so The Scourge. So maybe JC and Hellstar. I don't know, but
Oh, wow.
I think this is disc 5. We might be hearing the same thing. Who knows? We'll see. Uh-oh.
The fuck is with that player?
It's a pretty fast one, though. Okay, this is it. Let's go to track 2, though.
CM.
Sounds like thrash.
It does.
Death draws you near dark and the end of this segment because that was 9 seconds.
I thought it was going to be really death metal, the Scourge. More so.
And it might be, but that's what you got to do.
listen.
You got to go to the links in the description because that's where everything is if you want to hear more of that because we can't do it. So that's been 9 seconds. So clearly, as you saw me struggle through that CD player, there might be some geezer syndrome going on. And I never thought that I would be amongst the geezers.
What do you mean?
But you were, well, I know that you reminded me that we, in the 30s realm, starts to, I don't know, you said that Tim, Shadow Kingdom says, dude, where are the geezers?
Oh, yeah, but I thought you meant using the player. You said, like, the player. What's that got to do with the geezers?
Because I fucking sucked at it and had way more than the 9 seconds of each song. But I don't know, just glasses, whatever a geezer needs to get better at a CD
I guess.
player.
He did say that. Once you hit your 30s.
So I know that we've kind of divulged on this on the show before, where it's like when it comes to your other classics, more of the thrash caliber, at least is what I retained from remembering talking about it, where people were saying that when it comes to Megadeth and shit, there's like the guys that might be into, I don't know, Black Dahlia Murder or like this newer wave stuff that would consider that like oldies of metal, but like. What about a band like Cryptopsy, Lord Worm era, where like that's like still, I would think, that we got those awesome VHS tapes here on Reaper Metal Productions YouTube channel that posted a Cryptopsy one.
Well, that's considered geezer?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like at some point that is going, I mean, the years between 1994 and shit that's going to keep following.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I had this conversation with, I don't know what his fucking stage name is.
Oh.
Santinel or whatever the hell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he just said, I mean, he made a comment. We both kind of at the same time, but maybe I said it and he agreed. Is like we were talking about like I don't know. There was something that sold and he saw the orders and like something about kids got brought up, younger kids, and like I'm like, dude, in all honesty, like the guys that like Left Hand Path, Altars of Madness, I'm like that's literally like classic rock at this point.
Yeah, but it's not classic rock. Well, that's what I'm wondering about, because when you say, like, all right, Megadeth is a geezer band and considered classic rock at this point,
Well, here's
I can kind of comprehend that one,
hey,
you know?
geezer doesn't mean bad. It just means old. I never said that geezer shit sucks.
But geezer, old and geezer, anything old to me means kind of says basically what those bands represented. Like, they took it to the next level. Like, how do you take Cryptopsy to the next level?
Well, I mean, I think bands try to, and that's why a lot of it that's what does that next generation, because honestly, like we talked about, I think we talked about it here, but I may have had a conversation.
Nobody remembers,
but I mean, yeah,
I posted a video with short hair, and then somebody was like, I saw that new video standing there with long locks. Like, that was a new video.
But when I was talking about first generation death metal, second generation death metal, third generation death metal, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cryptopsy is probably second, but pushing third generation.
Yeah.
Because first generation is obviously, you know, Death, Possessed, Massacre, that type of stuff. Second is obviously Cannibal Corpse, Deicide.
Tomb.
Yeah, exactly. So still, yeah, Cryptopsy is kind of like hitting the third. Now the fourth generation, what I would consider it is more like bands like that I remember was like Aborted, Devourment, things like that. And then the fifth generation, which I kind of really lost fucking phase on it, is I don't even know who would be examples, but I mean, I'm sure like a lot of bands on like Severed Records and like Horror, Pain, Gore, Death would be considered that. And yeah. I mean, I just think that the problem with those bands is like they try to take, let's say a band like Cryptopsy, because I'm sure they're influenced by them.
Yeah.
And Suffocation was a huge one. Take it to a more of an extreme. The problem is like there's one thing to be extreme, but you got to have songs. See, the thing is with Cryptopsy, which was always cool, is because there's a lot of uniqueness in their songs. Like there's a lot of breaks, and like they even got like the kind of Seinfeld bass parts going. You know, and it's kind of like, but it's neat how they do it. And some of the like, it's not just all blasts. Although Flow's blasts are super fast, it's not all blasts.
Yeah,
there's super breaks. There's as opposed to like. That was my problem with a lot of the war metal bands and shit like that. The black ones, because it's the same fucking thing over and over. I was like, this would be awesome for a 7-inch. This is extreme. I was like, but the shit sounds all the same.
Yeah.
If you can't honestly, like the Cryptopsy songs, they don't sound the same at all. And the problem is the bands that try to take it to the next level. Let's say like
that's all they got. It's like speed.
Yeah, like, exactly. Let's say for example, like they take Flow's fastest parts. They would just do that from A to Z. You know what I mean? The whole thing. I'm like. Have you got some riffs to back that up, brah? Awesome, but it's like, I'll give you another example. Like, which I'm a fan of it. There's The Scourge from California, right? Mm-hmm. Their most popular album, She Lay Gutted.
Yeah,
I've heard that album probably 100 times.
I believe it.
I can't tell you. I couldn't walk in and tell you what song you're on. There's
okay.
very little. They blur together. It's kind of one song.
Even though you like it,
even though I like it,
so
yeah. That's why. That's kind of like when it's like you didn't need like 10 albums by them. I was like, it's all the same shit, and I admit that it is. I was like, I like the sound of it. I like the vocals, and I thought the bass on there was kind of clicky and sounded cool. I'm like, it's got a cool sound, but I'm like, these songs do sound the same.
But don't you think there might be not even like a sixth wave, but maybe a 5.5, or really one that just that was like parallel to all the ones that you described, where like there was also the other movement, like the deathcore kind of stuff, where like we've talked about, you know, certain, or even the new metal one, people that came like and could appreciate that stuff. Like as much as we want to be cool and say that fucking sucks, that ain't metal, you can't dismiss if that, especially if somebody ended it up like Cryptopsy.
I never said a deathcore band's not metal. I just said it's not my kind of metal.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So maybe because it ain't our kind of metal, we're not even considering it, because I think it might even be pivotal.
No, actually, I think a lot of those people would like Cryptopsy. They're going to look at Cryptopsy like that's like their Black Sabbath,
right?
That's like going back.
But the thing of it is, I would attribute that what you described, like the Severed Records, even more brutal stuff that just took Flow's blast A to Z. That's like they're trying to make it more extreme. Where like if you take the guy that's into like the deathcore kind of camp, he got wimpier in my opinion. Sorry guys, but I think they went
backwards.
Yeah. So like if you're going to agree with my logic that if something is geezer and oldies, just the word itself
theoretically
suggests
it should be lighter or
yeah,
weaker.
because you listen to Boston to Elvis, there's a fucking extremity difference between Boston and Elvis. You never
You're
would have thought
expecting them
extreme,
to,
but
let's say Cryptopsy 3rd tier, you would expect, let's say 6th tier, let's say it's deathcore just for the sake of argument, you would think 6th tier is going to be, whether you like it or not, you think it's going to be more extreme.
Yeah.
Not backwards.
Yeah. So it's like, exactly. Like, so
But,
I guess
and I agree with that, but the thing is, to everyone's defense, is I never really heard anybody, including the kids that like deathcore, or maybe they have the Severed Record stuff or whatever, I never heard of them ripping on Suffocation or Cryptopsy. They either, A, or haven't heard it yet, B, they just don't know it at all, or C, they like it. I've never heard say that's old geezer shit. And in fact, the closest I've got to that is you told me about it. Is you said there were some black metal kids. They said Venom sucks. They're a bunch of geezers. That's the closest I've ever gotten. I can understand that. I could fathom that too.
By comparison, it is.
By comparison, is because the black metal of the next generations was much more extreme. It sounds drastically different, and that is their parents weren't even fucking at the time that stuff came out. So I get that. That makes a little bit more sense. I don't agree with it, but I'm like, I can see where they're coming from. I can see that statement.
Yeah,
but to say like, if you like, whatever, the new Sepultura that wasn't as homeboy as I thought it was going to be, and you say Cryptopsy's a bunch of pussies, I'm like, well, that doesn't even make sense.
Now, in a way, though, you brought up death metal, black metal. In a way, and I think it was Lord Worm that was even saying that when we interviewed him on Into the Darkness podcast series. Check it out, or interview series.
Definitely a funny guy.
Yeah, and very well spoken, and he was. He basically made the obvious mention that, the next step up to death metal obviously was black metal. And realistically, if you were to slice it, definitely from like a music standpoint and instrument, so guitar, like death metal was tuned down, they tuned back up, it's kind of doing that.
Yeah, I see what he's saying. I kind of disagree with the step up because
that was said that they were trying to step it up with the extreme. I think it was Scott Burns, by the way.
But I mean, what I'm saying, the reason I slightly disagree is because theoretically, if you kind of look at the time frame, both genres kind of start at the same time. So, because like 85, whatever, you know what I mean? You had Possessed, but you had Bathory, you had Sarcophago going on, you had Mayhem.
Yeah.
You kind of have all these bands that were doing death metal and then black metal kind of at the same time. But as far as I do agree, like the black metal was trying to take it more extreme, and especially with Image and just their whole, just burning down churches and shit like that, and just being more extreme in their spirit, the black metal spirit.
Yeah, because
they were definitely trying to, whether they did or didn't, they were trying to be a more extreme genre, and I can respect that because I like extreme.
But when you take something like when you compare the two bands that probably rivaled those scenes the most, let's just say Deicide and like Mayhem.
That's pretty good.
Like Deicide's the heavier band.
Yeah.
Yet in Mayhem's mind, they were the more extreme, and in a way, they weren't burned. Like Glenn Benton's still around. He got death threatened. He didn't get killed. The other guy did,
Not
he
only
burned
that,
shit,
and kind of like what I said earlier is like the guys that claim to be Satanists generally are not only wrong. I'm not disrespecting Euronymous at all because I like everything he's on.
Me neither. I'm trying to make different points, though.
But what I've heard through the grapevine, and I'm sure, not that I'm in the loop more than any is, if you read Lords of Chaos, not just the movie, but read the book, and you follow that stuff, everybody I heard by account, now maybe they just didn't like him, that guy was a total pussy. He was no big band Satanist.
Well,
so what I'm saying is, but what I said earlier is a lot of the guys are, I'm all evil and this and that. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying that's what I heard. That's what I read. I don't know.
And I think then what in the black metal world, then what made any of that classic stuff any more extreme were, blasphemy or you bring up Satanel, Manicore.
Yeah.
Like, that was darker and far more heavier. I mean, at least if you were to attribute, because you can take heaviness, but I think most people would agree guitar-oriented things, so then down-tuned guitars would make it heavier.
I agree. I think that's a general consensus.
So, but to get back to maybe that death, what is it called? Deathcore kid, or the parallel shit. Well, I don't know about Homeboy, but Justin says that. Okay.
Between
producers talking.
Guttural. There's a difference between the disembowelment, eternal suffering. You know what I'm talking about? Those type of slam. Well, those are slamming death metal.
A lot of Texas scene in general too.
And that's and internal bleeding though, New York.
Yeah.
A lot of New York slam. That's completely different than deathcore.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
The breakdowns are night and day.
Not to mention a lot of the deathcore. If I'm thinking I know what deathcore is, which I think I do, they'll do a lot of clean vocal parts too, like kind of like balling like just like a little wimp.
Well, the point is
the slam like he's talking about there. It's all just guttural, like brutal shit.
And you're right, and I agree with all that. But my point, I guess, is what I was trying to give them a little bit of leverage there, rather than just saying I don't like it and that's bullshit and dismiss. Like, just try to equate what's going on here, because in a way, black metal was that to death metal, where it was trying to be the next extreme, but it kind of wasn't. It at least had things like tunings that were going backward, that weren't the more extreme.
Funny too, because now that black metal also had not all of it, not mayhem and stuff. Well, I don't know about later mayhems, but it's funny says because like what I said about deathcore, black metal is known for bands like Dame Eborg and stuff having clean vocal parts, and a lot of the death metal bands would basically that's pussy.
Right.
I mean, in a sense. Now, I'm not saying I agree.
No, I know, but
that's what I'm saying. But we just kind of said about deathcore too. The deathcore that I think I heard, the guy's kind of yelling, ooh, 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 like the tough guy shit, and then he's like balling a microphone. You've heard it. You've had it.
Yeah. I hate that stuff.
Is that deathcore?
I don't know. I think it's because some of that could be new metal too.
Is that considered deathcore?
Death metal versus deathcore. We'll have a whole.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if we can because I don't really. I don't really know it. Oh, you gotta play some bands for me.
Yeah,
actually,
we'll do that. We'll do a 6-9
seconds. Fuck 6-9. I gotta hear more than 9 seconds of shit I don't know.
Well,
I gotta
you won't like it. We'll get it figured
Play
out.
me some what for the next episode for something to
Every
give
Hellcast sounds like fuck. Don't do that.
What you gotta do is you gotta find some deathcore songs by whoever. I don't give a shit because I don't have it. And let's.
Breakdown difference.
Well, I need to hear it so I know the breakdown for sure. I want to make sure I'm giving the.
Somebody said the producer needed a mic on the last episode, so I'm just trying to keep the crowd happy. Yeah, I mean, some guy said "fuck J-Dawg hates Christ," and another guy said that.
Said the same. Was the same guy that was bitching about iDawg? I'm sure.
No, iDawg. No, that's what I said. iDawg was getting ragged on, and then some other guy said, "Give the producer a mic." So I wanted iDawg to get ragged on, and then the producer to get a mic. But no, we can put some more research into it. But like, I guess just the point was like, I just had a very hard time fathoming how the hell do you top something like Cryptopsy, and then it doesn't seem like the world even wants to. Like they keep kind of going in these like even black metal, they tuned it up. Then whatever we called it, deathcore, they started singing and yelling. Like there's got to be some. There's definitely like some human element that is very attracted to the same song and dance of like singing voices and prettiness when it comes to their music. Like, why else would humanity be kind of like going through these? And then there would always just like to be these extreme guys, yet 30 years later, still being the extreme guy?
Yeah, no, I definitely see the point. And like I said, I mean, it's like there's no problem if you could top the ladder and go more and more extreme. That's cool, but you got to have songs that make sense, that flow, that you could tell the difference between songs.
Well, now we're going to have an album war. And coming up, at the time of recording this, Peter was coming up. I think he's already out, Into the Darkness. Peter from Vader was on, and Vader just did a new album. And it was an awesome conversation. And before we had that conversation, I rolled it out to you, the audience, asking, what is your favorite Vader album? We don't even have, like, usually on Album Wars, I get a contender of this album or that album. Where in this one, there's so many Vader albums, like, where the hell do you battle? And like we kind of got into that discussion with Peter, there's a lot of like ups and downs as them like figuring out their sound and stuff that even when you do compare albums, like you really got to know everything to even safely make that one. And who better to kind of know that, I don't know, than J-Dawg to...
J-Dawg knows his Vader.
All right, well then what's J-Dawg's favorite Vader? And then the producer's going to chime in too. Because I'm going with Ultimate Incantation still. I'm being that guy.
Well, I'm going to be the guy that... and I don't want to be that guy. My favorite stuff is the demos. But my favorite album is not Ultimate Incantation at all. It's actually Litany.
Yeah?
Litany
Producer?
are very close.
Get me in here.
Very close second is Black to the Blind.
Yeah. Litany's funny because it's a great record, but what about those Euro trash club bass drums? Sounds like they're in a dance club.
They do?
Yeah, the bass drum is exactly like that, like disco
Oh, and Wings.
style. Like,
Yeah, I guess like...
I mean, it's like
I never
club.
really thought-
It's like the guys next door.
Well,
It's like
I guess
Ricky
I never
Martin.
really thought about that because when it's blasting fucking a mile a minute, pretty much,
Yeah.
99% of the time, then I never really thought about it. But I guess like for the opening track, Wings, I guess it kind of does do that.
Yeah, it isn't the one. It's like, and then it gets faster.
Yeah,
So I remember,
blast,
like, it's like, dude, you talking about subsonic? That's
Well, the reason I liked that
holy.
album so much is because it's literally, I would say 90% of the album is just straight blasts. but every single song sounds different.
Yeah.
I can tell every song apart. That's what I'm talking about. That's pretty cool when you can do that. Not too many bands can. Because tons of bands have, and I'm like, I can't tell this shit apart at all. And not on a first or second listen. That's a bit unfair.
Well, okay.
But I'm saying that, like, they're one of the few.
I think that's why I like Ultimate Incantation the most then, because I'm with you. I love the demo stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not an album for one, and it's the same songs then, or some of them, that's on Ultimate Incantation. And like Chaos demo version is far different, vocally anyway.
That's one of the biggest reasons.
Sound-wise.
Honestly, one of the biggest reasons I like the demos, especially. I don't know if it is the first demo, but it's the first demo that's on the Reborn and Chaos disc.
Yeah.
The first demo, that might be the second demo.
Actually, I think because
I think they reversed them, but I could be wrong. But that's one with the big eye on the cover. It's all red cover.
And Reborn and Chaos
the first song on there is Chaos. Yeah, but
so Reborn and Chaos is the demo collection, and I think it's slightly confusing because there's only 2 demos on there when there's 3.
It could be all 3. I mean, like I know like songs like. Chaos and then like Decapitated Saints, those come from 2 separate demos. I know that, and they're both on there. But anyways, the demo version of Chaos, that's probably my favorite Vader song. And part of the reason I like the demo so much, especially like his vocals on that demo, is because the vocals. I think his vocals sound awesome, and no one really sounds like that to date. Just like, it's really cool too, although it's not my favorite by no means, is it's very similar situation, just how drastically different and that they don't sound like nobody, is the very first Deicide demo. Glenn's vocals sound over the top sick, nothing like he does, almost black metal. And I can't think of anybody to this day that sounds like that when he does it like that. I can't think of any, but there may be somebody out there that I'm not thinking of or haven't heard, but I can't think of any vocals I think the first demo was like just 3 songs. It's funny to this date, but same with the Vader. I can't think of anybody's vocals that sound like that.
Especially
that's what I mean. Even to this date, you think all these bands, we get all these bands that want to play Swedish death metal. Let's sound like Grave. Let's sound like Dismember. How about try to sound like that?
All right.
At least that's not been done a million times.
And how about we kind of tally this up as we look through? Because like I said, I asked the audience, what did they think was their favorite? What was their favorite Vader? And before we kind of look at it, what do you think might be the favorite Vader
by people in general?
Yeah.
I think Litany's got a good chance, to be honest.
Litany got a good chance.
Actually, if I had to guess, I would guess Black to the Blind, but that might be Geezer J-Dawg because no
one likes it but me and you.
Oh, really? Because back in the day, I mean, it seemed like that was the general pick.
Because it seemed like
Litany, like when I was. Yes, when I saw them for the first time, I think it was for Litany, and then because I've seen Vader's one of the bands I've seen several times.
You've had a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, but so I mean, I think the first time I seen them though was for Litany. Because is De Profundis the one before Litany? Yeah, I don't.
No. De Profundis before Black to the Blind.
Well, so here we go. Do we even want to try to tally it up or just mentally tally it up?
Yeah, I mean, there's only a few key ones
that
need to be known.
So we got De Profundis, Litany for sure. Yeah. De Profundis, True Called Answer. I only like the demos.
Who's saying this? Who are you getting this response from?
This is on Facebook. Welcome to the Morbid Reich. That was a good album, but it wasn't my favorite. Right. The Ultimate Incantation. The Ultimate Incantation. The Ultimate Incantation. The Ultimate Incantation.
Yeah, but are they only just saying that because it's the first album?
I don't know why.
A lot of guys that do that
simply just said, "Hey, what's your favorite?" So whatever the reason.
But a lot of people, I think they're gonna get. They feel like they're gonna get punched in the face if they say anything other than the first.
I don't know about on the internet.
Yeah, I'll say this though: Vader's one of the few bands. Don't be wrong. I like some albums more than others, and I guess I'm listening to Homeboy Kick Drum albums. But I mean, I actually like every Vader album. There's not an album that sucks. But I can't tell you like the Tibby, Nibby, whatever. album. Yeah. Like I don't know that as well as I know Litany.
Somebody said that was their favorite.
No. It's a good album. They're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good. I'm just saying I can't say I know them all equally as well, but I've never heard one I'm like, this sucks.
All right, well then let me finish it off because I think we got an official tally. And I never thought anybody would be saying Revelations, although I like that album.
That is a good album.
I know, I just didn't know about a favorite. Here we go though. Black to the Blind. Black to the Blind.
Yeah.
De Profundis, and Litany. I'd have to say I think it's De Profundis.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And then second to that would be probably Litany. An Ultimate Incantation, and then what was? Oh, you said Black to the Blind. So I mean, there was a few mentions of it.
Black to the Blind are my 2 favorite.
So there you go. So if you want to get in though on the album wars, well then fucking pay attention, shit, to their fucking social media and all that
weird.
stuff.
You know what? Like Vader's like a really popular band, but in my opinion, a very underrated band.
Super underrated.
Yeah,
because people don't bring them up. It sells like shit for Hells, but yet they're buying. I won't even say.
No, say.
They're buying King Dude or something. You know what I mean? But like, why would you buy that before?
See, that was we didn't want that thought to hang. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Why would you say that? Why would you buy that before Vader? I just don't. That just don't. Me, just Death Metal Spirit Justin. That doesn't make sense. I just don't get it.
I realize Vader been around for 30+ years.
Oh, dude, the first demo was like what, 87?
They started in '83.
Well, I don't want to rag on anybody for buying King Dude, so I'll just go to this. I would just think you're buying King Dude. You're
allowed to go buy Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. I just don't. If you claim
you're not allowed to do that.
No, I'm saying, but if you like death metal, I don't understand how you buy that before that. I just don't get it. And people are like, well, maybe I bought it. I'm like, you didn't buy it from us because it's just...
Well, and if you were buying King Dude only and not Vader and King Dude, then you missed out on that fucking sweet-ass fucking book of 3 CDs of the demos. Sounds like you don't even have it. Witching Hour Productions did.
Wait, 3 CD?
You don't have it either, producer?
There's a 3 CD book.
3 CD like book, motherfucker. It's a book. It's this thick. It's a bound. I posted it on Instagram the other day.
I just had the.
It's beautiful.
I'll give you a funny. I'll give you a Vader story. Someone's talking. You want a
Tell
Vader
one.
story? I'll take because I've met them several times. I got my picture with all of them back today too.
When they Hot Topic pants?
Hot Topic.
With all the straps?
I don't know about Hot Topic pants, but I have my picture with Doc, who's dead.
Yeah.
And actually,
I heard.
So two comments by them was by those guys, and one is when I had Peter sign all my stuff. He said, "Whoa, what is this, a Vader store?" He said everything. And then Doc also said too when he was signing at Reborn in Chaos the CD, so it's demos. That's the demo stuff I have. It's Reborn in Chaos CD, and then I have a Reborn in Chaos 12-inch picture disc.
Yeah.
And Doc's like, "Oh shit!" He's like, "This must be a bootleg. I didn't even know this existed." And he signed it. He said, "I don't even have one of these."
Damn. That's awesome.
A few years later, he died.
Huh. Well.
So no, but I don't have the book you're talking about. I don't even know what that is.
HH got it. It was from Witching Hour Productions put it out. It's fucking awesome.
Is it shaped like a CD?
No, it has 3 CDs, 1 CD per demo. So every demo's on a CD, and then they slide into the not perfect bound, hardbound cover. And then you open it up, and it's got fucking...
It sounds kind of familiar,
The only thing that sucks about it is all the notes from Peter.
I remember that. Yeah, I don't think I have it,
all the notes from Peter and Polish.
The reason I probably don't have it is because a lot of... like, I'm guilty of buying a lot of stuff that I like over and over, and then there's a point, it's like, dude, I already have this shit. Why am I buying it again? You know what
because
I mean?
that had the morbid, the necro lust.
Well, I might not have known. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I saw that, and I got it. But... So anyway, another thing I did bring up on the show before, we were talking about Scott Burns... was Devastation. We had an album war where I said that would be my favorite.
Because Burns recorded
that? Produced it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
And you said, and you were right, nobody was going to be voting for that.
But what was the most popular? Tune Me Later?
We just...
Oh, you didn't take a vote?
Yeah, we didn't take a vote. But we did talk to Rodney Dunsmore on Into the Darkness, and I was a nerd in heaven. We didn't go that far, but it was just the Scott Burns connection. So I just thought I would follow up and bring it in because I had it brought in, and it just so happened to be sitting here. But like, that was it was just kind of
Rodney in the back there. Is that him in the long hair in the middle? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, you've met him before. He's down at Hell's.
Yeah, cool guy. He doesn't have much to say.
He did today. Which was great, and it was awesome to dive in there because the iconic Devastation skull, we got to the bottom of that, and how the Violent Termination cover with the actual photo of the skull. It's like, how did you find it? Because it's the blindfold. It's exactly your mascot, and it's just like, because dumbass, we made the mascot after finding that photo or something. But so it turned out that somebody just had that photo, and they're like, that'd be a badass cover.
Yeah, so I could see that being the case. I mean, I've seen shit that I thought was cool, and I'm not in a band, but.
But I just loved hearing shit like that. I was like, that's great. But yeah, it was just interesting. But he did kind of agree that the Scott Burns, when he got into the picture, it did kind of morph them to have like the Scott Burns sound. Because that album
do you think that's better for better or worse?
Oh, he definitely thought it was for best because that was their milestone of an album.
So he was happy with the finished product.
That's probably the one that he was most happiest with. Yeah. And unfortunately, the band didn't continue after that.
Because you never really know what sometimes the bands think of the finished product. Maybe they like it, because you don't hear it.
Yeah.
So
no, it was so fucking cool, man. Because like that to me, like that's my, he's my Glenn Benton.
What year is that? 88?
91.
That album
is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the Talking Album? What year is that?
The Talking Album. Violent Termination.
That
was a little bit earlier than that because the demos, forget. I have them in front of me. Like we're 86 and 85, so that was I think probably about 87. I want to say 87 sounds about right.
Did he say he likes Devastation from Chicago?
We did not get into that, but that was kind of what you preferred.
I love Devastation Chicago. As a matter of fact, Devastation Chicago, I would say those possibly could be my second favorite demos. If I had to pick, like, what's your favorite demo of all time? Probably second. I mean, when I stopped to think about my first favorite demo of all time, off the top of my head, whenever I think about it, is Putrefaction Painful Death.
So what was additionally cool, though, is that talking about, Chicago Devastation, for one, that's like kind of right there in theme with that Extremity I was talking about, because that's more like a thrash band.
It's like death thrash.
But like those vocals, like at least on one of the demos, like come back from the war.
That's why
that was awesome.
That's why I almost kind of consider it like death thrash, because it's almost kind of like Cam Lee in a sense.
But not in the sense of death thrash, like in the Creator Pleasure to Kill that I think of.
No,
death
just
thrash
it was
as.
a little bit like it was just a little heavier, darker, and dirtier than like typical like Exodus or something like that.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Which the first name was Massacre before they decided.
Devastation from Chicago.
Oh, so Devastation from Texas was
Massacre.
So one of the things
I know that. No.
And so what
Officially, but that's the name.
They threw it around.
one of the things I asked Rodney though was like being from Texas, because he said the one demo, the Vinnie Paul from Pantera was even involved in producing it.
Which one's Vinnie Paul? Is that the bass player?
The drummer, and
Is he dead?
yeah, just died recently.
Yeah, that's okay.
So,
Yeah.
but like, and if you're a Pantera fan, like everybody kind of knew
I am
that, like
not.
Vinnie Paul and like, but like what were their last? The Abbott brothers. Abbott brothers.
That
like
was
their
before Pantera?
dad. Well, their dad and their family owned like a recording studio, so like they had that's like all the Pantera shit was like recorded there and stuff.
Like the
so
early
anyway,
like power metal and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, like that. So now you got this, and they're one thing, and then you got Devastation. Then you're talking about Rotting Corpse, and filling every freaking Texas kind of band in there. And if you really kind of think about it, whether you like Pantera or not, all that, even they all had something about them where like they were the extra mile. Like there's even to this day, like Texas has some sort of like infatuation with like the extra mile of stuff. Like even that Destroying Texas Fest there, where it's like more of like your Manicore, more both.
Texas has a lot of things. I mean, King Diamond lives there, and a side note, the greatest bodybuilder of all time. You know where he's from?
I don't know who the greatest bodybuilder of all time is, let alone where he's from. Who's the greatest bodybuilder?
Ronnie Coleman.
Okay, and he's from Texas?
Yeah.
So, but do you think, do you agree, though, that there's something about the Texas scene that there's something more extreme about it all the time?
Well, it's funny that's what I was saying. That's why I brought bodybuilding, because there's a lot of guys that argue. They're like, why is it a lot of the guys from that come out of Texas, just there's something different about them? He's like, they're stronger, they're freakier.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck are they doing down there? There's just something in that goddamn bison.
So I thought maybe the proximity to Mexico, because would you agree?
Well, that's the same thing. Well, United was it United Guttural that put out Devourment? Was it not United Guttural? It was Corpse Crystal.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about that.
Corpse Crystal, right?
Devourment, though. You're talking about because Devourment from Texas, though.
Devourment, Prophecy. Yeah, but there was Centauri, there was Prophecy. Yeah, there was a bunch of those. But the whole thing is don't fuck with Texas, and everybody kind of.
Don't mess with Texas.
I think they said don't fuck with Texas.
Maybe they did, but I think that's insane.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I mean, just they had the whole Texas moniker thing too, so I think that's just kind of a thing. Just I don't know what the reason, but I mean, it just seems like it's I never really thought about it, but you're bringing it up, and it's kind of like I've noticed that with a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
In that state,
so and so did and Rodney agreed, and so I took it one step further. Like, what do you think? Because like I'll just reiterate what I said. Like when it comes to like more of like primitive visceral sounds, so like the Brazilian scene always comes to mind. Where I think like if you're kind of in that Latin America area, then don't skip over Mexico, because I think when like if Mexico had an equivalent scene and a Sepultura to go with it, that would probably be sicker stuff, because like when you listen to early Mortuary or like Shub Niggurath and stuff, like that's like I think there's a little more intense.
Well, it's funny you say that. Honestly, as far as the you probably be on fourth generation dog when we're talking about Devourment and Board and stuff. And out of all those bands, I would say the most kind of like unique, like you said, but more extreme, just everything. I would say was Discouraged from Mexico. They're probably the most intense. They have the most intense image.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Dude, not only their album covers being with real photos.
Oh yeah,
and just their image. They actually wore spikes and used blood. And just something about them, they were like, the vocals were real. That's a band you could have followed the fucking lyrics for shit either. Like Cryptop probably had that Lord Worm influence. You couldn't follow them. and it was really, really intense shit.
And how do you take that to the next
But
level?
I always thought, for example, so like, for example, like there's a lot of people that probably disagree, and the barrage, you know what I mean? Those guys say I disagree. But I mean, in general, if you asked me, I think the other person who was on the same page with me, and I think his opinion is pretty relevant on this, is Will Romer. It's asked, if I had to pick, and I do know which one I like more, but who's more brutal then? Disgorge from California or Disgorge from Mexico? I would say Mexico.
For
they
sure.
Just had
album covers alone.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like the Disgorge California was super brutal though, but there was something about the rawness and the grittiness of the Mexican one.
Yeah, but there was still just.
But even like, because I remember asking Romer, I was like, "Which one do you like more?" And he said Mexico, the more fucking brutal.
Well, because plus, and I'm not really a fan of either, but like Discourse from California, they had they kind of had more of that American influence.
They did.
Where like they were wearing
It
the
was
beanies
basically
and stuff.
and
so you're just a bunch of white guys in beanies.
No,
where
they're very much basically an advanced suffocation.
And so and like you said about Laura Worm, like when you look at a picture of them, that you just think something's wrong. Like when I see Discord from Mexico, like they just fit it way more.
Yeah, they had a freaky appearance and everything, and yeah.
And they didn't have any trend, like
nothing
trendy. No trend,
no beanies, no high tops, none of that.
Yeah,
nonsense.
yeah. So it's like it's almost like, well, man, these guys could have taken this for because like at the end of the day too, like Corpa, whatever the heck, Infest,
Chronic Corporate Infest.
Yes, that album cover is probably the sickest, but the most like just inhumane sick one is definitely Foreign Sick with the baby.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how the fuck do you even get that photo?
I heard the story. I forget how. I don't remember, but I'll say this about Mexico too. So that is kind of like I agree with something about it. And I've been there, but not for metal reasons. Is something about it. The stories I've heard and shit I heard. I think that breeds, in general, real metal fans.
Oh yeah,
well, like not a bunch of like poser Americans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that complain about people being antichrist and yet they listen to death metal. I think they actually bleed real metalheads.
Right, and if you're
because I get that, I've heard that from Cannibal Corpse. Everything saying like, dude, it's real metalheads.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, and maybe there's like a basically because like if there is a band that is like from Mexico and it's like darker, like that is far more even in a Glenn Benton fuck God dark. Like they're still darker because I think there's maybe more touch to that religion. I just don't think they got the looks.
They never, honestly, if you think about it, there's been really no band in the death metal scene, black metal scene that had that big boom as like the size of like a Deicide. So they didn't have that impact for that reason because. Who knows why?
So I'm sorry if. First of all, we get packages sometimes, and I want to remember that.
Nobody told me.
Well, it didn't say your name on it, so I didn't.
Didn't say J-Dawg? Fuck.
No, J-Dawg did not get something.
See, that's gonna be the new. Put a wall. Yeah, now it's gonna be J-Dawg.
J-Dawg, yeah. Dick Candle blowing J-Dawg.
Yeah.
So. But I do remember when Heavy Metal Relics did a video about Mexican metal. Here I am fucking blab about Mexican metal. And in that video, which was 3 years ago, mind you, I admitted that I didn't know as much about Mexican metal as I thought. And it was Soul Grinder Zine that kind of chimed in there so much that in that package of chiming in and sending some great stuff, he sent Dick Vomit. And that's why Dick Vomit's on Reaper Metal.
Dick Vomit's not from Mexico, though, are they?
No, but I'm just saying, you're talking about a fan. And so I'm pretty sure Paul from Soul Grinder might have been from there, but if I totally got that wrong, then I'm just a blatant fucking idiot. But he at least chimed in, I remember, around that time and sent this care package, so I wanted to at least open it up now. And
is it double X for J-Dawg?
There is no double X for J-Dawg. Double X for J-Dawg next time. Anybody wanting to send a package? Double X for J-Dawg?
Double X.
What about J-Dawg? What does he wear? Triple X?
He's double X too.
Oh, he's double X too?
double X douche.
5X on the horizon?
It's tried. If they'd open the gyms, that'd be 3X by now. Fuck.
So, Soul Grinder looks like a Soul Grinder shirt that I will fit into because it's medium, but J-Dawg will be medium's far behind you.
He'll wear that on his calves.
But, dude, J-Dawg needs one of these dudes because why?
That's cool.
Wimps and posers keep out.
Oh, fuck yeah. Just like the old master saying.
Dude, that should have just been
wimps, throw him in the pit.
Dude, you got to make the J-Dawg shirt. That should have been you coming out of there.
Yeah, no,
because that's the line. That's like your line.
It is.
Fuck.
100% is.
Dude, we got to make HELLCAST shirts. J-Dawg coming out of a grave, and Wimps and Posers keep out. If you want one of those, we'll get it going.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're an artist and you want to draw that, just draw it up and send it to me. We'll make a shirt of it.
I do talk about the posers and wimps.
Yeah.
An overabundance of them nowadays.
Yeah. So, apparently, Soul Grinder gets it. And that's the point.
But so, did the band send it to you, or is it just a fan?
Soul Grinder Zine. sent it because that's
Okay, so the publisher or the guy that writes it did.
Yes,
okay,
his name's Paul.
And he just so I'm supposed to listen to Hellcast, and he just sent on the shit on the Clear Blue.
Yeah, he's been sending me stuff for a while, and it's always awesome. He sent some of the other stuff that we played before, and so this came in recently.
Is he a long time listener or kind of recent?
I've known about him for a while.
But I mean, has he known about Hellcast for a while?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would be I think that's my introduction. I've done so many things now. I don't know how people get a hold of me, but I think it was through that.
It just says Reap on it.
It said my real name, so that's how we know each other. But yeah, so there's just a lot of great stuff. But yeah, it coincided with when we were talking about the Mexican stuff because I think he had an issue that was about
Mexican death metal, Mexican metal.
and it was fucking sweet. And now that I'm looking,
dude, I'm
here,
sure there's a lot. Like anytime people bring it up, I mean, obviously there's Cenotaph from Mexico, but I mean, there's a lot of like when I kind of like get stumped when I think about Mexico. I can only think of a handful. But honestly, there's probably bands I forget about from Mexico. But there's but not only that, but I think there's probably a lot of bands I'm like, fuck, I didn't even know about them.
Yeah, and dude, look at that. So we're talking about fucking Texas, and even I don't know who this is, but that guy's wearing an Annihilator shirt, like the one that spells it wrong.
Texas.
Yeah,
Who's the guy with the black metal shirt and a Cannibal Corpse shirt on? Never seen that before.
I'm not sure. But yeah, so great stuff. So Soul Grinder Zine. Definitely something worth checking out. Links will be in the description, and thank you for the care package. You can always send a care package to HELLCAST.
It's like the fucking saying, what's that guy in RoboCop? Oh, I like it.
Yeah, I do like it.
What's that guy's name?
Ready to fucking put it. I don't know. The guy that gets like
The worst death of all?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's one of the best scenes.
That is.
When he's dead. Help me. Get out
I would have just shot him.
Yeah, nobody's like all grossed out.
Yeah.
The humor's still there too. So
yeah.
But so Mexico really does have all that going for it. But another scene that does, and we definitely went into that with the conversation, and so we're gonna get to it. That's Records on the Wrong Speed. And today it's going to be the Polish metal version.
It will be
And so we already listened to Magnus, but we're going to listen to him again on the Wrong Speed because this album's freaking perfect for it. And it was awesome because Peter knew him.
I don't doubt that, but what did he say about them?
He was talking about the spikes of Rob Bandit.
What did he say about it?
It's just like he had the Kerry King spikes going on to the next level, essentially.
I said I used to fuck with them too and throw fruit on them.
All right.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny too, because obviously Peter very much embraces the spirit of the spikes as well. But they really took it to the next level.
Did he like them as a band then back in the day?
Yeah. Because dude, they'd have that. Vader had that cover album.
With like Mayhem on their Freezing Moon and
and like Black Sabbath and shit.
Yeah.
Well, then they did a second one where it's just Polish bands like Merciless Death.
No, I know what you're talking about, and I didn't know there was a lot of shit out there. I was like, I don't even know who these bands are.
Right, and so I grabbed Imperator, because that's one of the bands they covered, and then Ghost from Poland.
Did they cover Ghost?
Yeah, and then
I guess I didn't know.
Peter said, Merciless Death was one of his favorites.
Well, I just remember when I listened to it, I'm like, this is basically just a fucking album. I was like, I don't know half this shit.
Where they just covered it, but in Vader style. It's fucking awesome. So let's take a listen. And that was another reason why I brought the Magnus one, specifically Scarlet Slaughterer, though, because we were talking about the band and kind of that, like having a resurgence, because that was the reason why Vader did the covers, to kind of bring attention to it. And that's where I was like, dude, because Reaper Metal, back in the day when it was Reaper Metal Records, that would this was like my third release, was reissuing this. And when I did, like all of a sudden, Blood Harvest, literally, this is the LP he put out. This is the reissue of it. And it's like, holy shit, because I knew who put that fucking in the world, because it was really hard to get in touch with Magnus and even find him. That's like, So it was fucking cool, and that was that.
Somebody got in touch with the real Merciless Death, too.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a listen to the Magnus on the Wrong Speed.
Now, you would know immediately this is the Wrong Speed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's total Chipmunks.
Yeah. That almost sounds like an 8-year-old trying to sing real fast. But
there's the original.
Do you think, like, for example, like Magnus, like this album, and just like some of that stuff, and the Brazilian bands, before they're like albums, had kind of like a Brazilian touch to it too? Just
I was just gonna say,
like the quality of it, and the sound.
That's why the at least conversation I was gonna say, like bringing up what we just did.
Like for example,
in Polish,
like
it's
the
kind of
Polish stuff.
appropriate.
This Polish stuff is way closer to being Brazilian sound than it is to U.S. or Sweden. You know what I mean?
Maybe because it's a third world.
That's what I mean. It just
Yeah,
seemed like
and
third
it's-
world. Like equipment was shittier. Like the fans were like more.
Oh, dude, he talked about like they had to make their own guitars and shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I knew a lot of that stuff through Sebastian talking about that. Where like Magnus, literally, like when they
Well,
were
it
in
just
touch
seems like
with
too,
them.
and especially like those third world countries, kind of like what I said about Mexico. It just seems like those guys had more heart and appreciation for the music
Yeah,
because they didn't take it for what they got. It's almost like us
Dude,
stupid Americans just take everything for granted. Now,
Yeah.
now everybody's kind of wondering. Now everything's shut down. People are kind of seeing how good they had it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like over there. It's almost like they appreciate it because they never had shit.
yeah, and that's kind of what he was saying, and entirely something I noticed as well. And I don't know. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I lumped them both together here in the same podcast to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was telling a lot of those stories. Dude, I thought it was an awesome interview.
I'm sure Poland's probably much better now than it was in the '80s, though. Like,
Yeah.
just the country to live in.
Yeah. Well, they're no longer beyond. They are beyond the Iron Curtain.
Okay.
So for all you ghosts from Sweden haters, well, then this is the real fucking like
The
you
real
could be
ghost.
like, dude, fuck you. This is the real deal, and then you won't be full of shit. And a typewriter tough guy.
That's what you gotta say, the Panini's douche, because you know you'll get a Panini's douche.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Ghost.
and there
You're
were
like,
no
Ghost.
ghosts.
I like the real Ghost, bro.
What do you mean the real ghost?
Polish one?
Well, I mean, so are they the ones that sued them, and that's why it was Ghost BC?
Yeah.
No. Well, then how are they the real ones?
Just stop talking.
I don't need to explain it to you.
You wouldn't know them, you wouldn't like them. Because
they
they
wouldn't-
damn sure ain't gonna buy it if I told you about it.
Yeah, I hardly know this on the right speed. So here,
Yeah, I don't know it. No, and I just know I like it and I own it. Like I heard, I'm like, oh, this is good, and I picked it up. But like, it's one of those things. It'll be like we said one time. It'd be a new listen for me.
So
but
do you
I
think-
know I've heard it and I liked it.
Well, since that's going to be the case, do you think this is going to be Chipmunks or not?
No, because I think it's a little bit more down paced. I wouldn't think so. Chipmunks to me is like the really fast stuff.
Let's see.
Sarcophago, the Magnus out. That's not too shocking.
Oh,
but I
intro.
don't recall the Ghost being overly fast. Remember it being more mid paced. Like
Yeah, this seems like it might work.
this is pretty fast so far. But okay, so it's
Let's
just
see
not
if
crazy.
album comes out.
Yeah, I don't think album's going to.
No album?
I don't.
Yeah, it kind of works out.
Yeah, it doesn't sound. It doesn't
doesn't-
sound drastically obvious. They'd be the wrong
And
song.
what does it sound like normally? Because I don't remember.
It's more just like.
Oh, wow, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't remember having that much more.
It's kind of got a Swedish edge to it, wouldn't you say? The buzzsaw?
Back to what we were just saying earlier. Opposite of what we were saying earlier. Is what I'm saying. The Polish bands.
Yeah. Yeah, totally the opposite. Which, by the way, speaking of
No, I
Vader,
remember it being just a straight up death metal album.
Yeah. seemed
But
to
yeah,
have that
I don't,
point.
like I said, I don't know it. But I remember when I heard there's two discs that came out. I think one's a demo disc and one's an album, or maybe both albums. Maybe one is an album. Whatever it is, it's 3-issue stuff, and
That's what this
and I thought
is,
it was
too.
good. I was like, oh, so it's not. It's the real Ghost.
Yeah. Well, to some, I guess.
No. The other Ghost is pretty good, but it's just that's totally what I'm saying. The Panini's douche
yeah. The real dude.
because he doesn't.
Dude, get a ghost. Like, yeah, if there's real ghosts out there, make shirts of this so we can all wear them
Yeah.
and then be like, we got the real ghost. Because you'll get the Panini's guy up like, yeah, Papa. And like the logo that he never used is Papa, huh? Real big fan, right?
It's
okay.
it's not the Poser Ghost.
Yep. Yeah. It's not the poser ghost. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What's a poser? Like he'll be the what's Reverend Pantera guy.
That's why you got to have the other shirt on underneath. Tear it off. Wimps and Poser stay out.
Yeah. Now, do you call them Imperator or Imperator or what do you
I always
call this?
pronounce it Imperator, but I could be totally. I'm by no means a fucking
Dude,
expert on.
man, I just must have somehow have some psychic ability, like, because then this was Death Like Silence that put this out originally. So speaking of that fucking mayhem,
But
connection,
isn't that Yosuke that put that out?
well, he reissued
Yeah, that's
it,
how-
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
original of Imperator was from Death Like Silence.
Yeah,
That's what the sticker said.
The thing is, I think there's a bootleg version of that too, and I think that's what I have.
So do you-
I don't have a Death Like Silence version, but I think there's a bootleg.
Is this going to be Chipmunks?
You know what? This album's for me is I kind of was just like, it wasn't very memorable. So you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a little bit. I remember being kind of sloppy.
Be more of the probably. Yeah, this sounds like it'd be more of the like the Magnus sound. Let's skip it along. There's Alvin. Kind of a girl.
Yeah, more not so much Alvin.
I wasn't gonna think of.
No, that's what I say. It's kind of like it's a good album, but it's not like Lord Worm says. It's not on my player all the time. Or what did he say?
Who?
Lord Worm. And he's like, I like the stuff, but it's not what I listen to all the time.
Oh,
It's kind of like that. You know what I mean? Because it's been a long time since I've heard that record.
well.
But I'm pretty sure what I have a bootleg pressing of it. I think it's a Brazilian bootleg pressing.
Whether it's been a while or it's been the first time you ever heard it, go ahead and do it on your own and listen to these records in their fullest, whether they be on the right speed. We're going to be doing it on the wrong speed. So, till next time.
Producer just said, fuck you, I'm hitting stop.
Producer did say that, but I said fuck that, and I started it back up and said, look,
Let
man.
us know because producers can suck a dick and say if it goes over a minute, it's not a big deal.
Well, you know,
we're 5 minutes. Oh, fuck.
we gotta get going. We gotta get going. We gotta put these back in here because we gotta get a bunch of links together because that's where we're gonna leave you here. Where all this shit, if you liked it, you want to hear it on the right speed, you're like J-Dawg. Dude, what am I gonna do on 9 seconds of a clip?
Well, then, fucking figure that out.
Yeah, you're gonna click on the fucking link that I worked really hard to supply to your ass, and you're gonna check it out on your own terms. You're gonna play these records on the right speed, the wrong speed, whatever. You're gonna get yourself you're gonna make the Helps of Posers, the Whips of Posers keep out, and you're gonna get a Soul Grinder zine fucking shirt. You're gonna read the zine, and you're gonna fucking love everything in there because there's so much in there, and all that shit. And then you're gonna do all that crap J-Dawg loves for me to remind you of. Subscribe, share.
I just figured everybody knows because everybody says it. I just figured they all know.
What do they always say? That smash the like. That's what it is. Smash it. Like
ring my bell,
stop
baby.
saying that.
Don't you got a bell to ring?
Yeah, and ring the bell. Smash it if you will. And if you do all that, we'll have everything we need to talk to you next time.